not too late.
No,
But thank you for waiting.
no.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And a doctor going to meet the health minister is a very important thing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. So with your permission, we'll start now. We have mostly our speakers are there.
Please.
At the outset, I would like to wish everyone a very happy and prosperous new year, and hope the bad experiences of 2020 will be behind us, and our resilience will win everything over for us. I wish you a very good health and happiness. Today, of course, is a very important day. So I would like to wish Pongal, happy Pongal, as well as Makar Sankranti. And I see now that it is being celebrated all over India in different parts, including some neighboring countries. But the most interesting thing that was for me when I was seeing some of uh, the greetings, one of the greetings that came was from AIEF mission 2020, and which was very interesting about this. So it worked out what Pongal actually stands for. It said Pongal means P stands for peaceful times, O for opportunity for growth, N for nature's bounty, G for God's blessings, and A for African and Indian unity, and L means lots of work. So it was really very interesting. Well, Excellencies and dear friends from the industry and businesses from India and Kenya, I'm indeed most thankful to you all for your kind presence today to join this webinar as we explore the business opportunities with Kenya with our esteemed speakers. On behalf of Asia Chamber of Commerce and our partners, I extend a very warm welcome to you all. At the outset, I would like to express my gratitude to my dear friend, Ambassador Dr. V.K. Paul, our new High Commissioner to the Republic of Kenya, for being such a great support. As when I broached him, he not only agreed to share his thoughts, but asked the High Commission to recommend other relevant speakers, and we are so happy to have them with us today. His Excellency High Commissioner to India was also very keen to participate, but as he had to travel out of India and the connectivity is rather poor, he was unable to connect, but he has sent his greetings and best wishes for this webinar, and I'm quite sure that Economic and Commercial Wing is working with us. Likewise, the Commercial Counselor in the Kenyan High Commission, Mr. Nicholas Inugu, I would like to convey our thanks to him for arranging several of his colleagues and bosses to come and speak to us today, because that is what will make this webinar richer for the participants. I'm, of course, most grateful to His Excellency Dr. Bruno Linuru, who is a career public servant and the Secretary of Trade, who will be extremely important and can give us very good information, and since he has a very vast experience across this spectrum. Friends, when I think of Kenya, I nearly go back to 40 years, when for the first time I visited Nairobi while I was working for Air India. And frankly, I just loved the place. For that matter, it was also the first African country I visited and really fell in love with the continent. For me, Africa remains a good priority whenever one tries to do something. I've been there many times as a diplomat and always explored something new. We have a historical connection and also have a very dynamic diaspora, some of whom will share their experiences and sound advice if you are planning to do business with the country. Situated on the equator on Africa's east coast, Kenya has been described as the cradle of humanity. In the Great Rift Valley, paleontologists have discovered some of the earliest evidence of man's ancestors there. Even the Ethiopians claim that. In the present day, Kenya's ethnic diversity has produced a vibrant culture, but is also a source of conflict in some cases. India and Kenya are also maritime neighbors with robust and multifaceted partnership, which is marked by regular high-level visits. And we had started our mission in 1948, and since then it has gone on for too long, and we'll hear about the outcome of the visit of Prime Minister Modi. That was one of the most important visits in 2016. we have really no problem between our two countries. That is the best part of it. But potential, I guess, and the High Commissioner will definitely agree to be exploited. Can I request people who are not speaking to kindly mute themselves? That'll be good. So Indian companies are there in many ways. Some say there are 60 or 70 Indian major companies that have invested in various sectors in the country, whether it is the IT sector, agro-based industries, or for that matter, in real estate or pharmaceuticals. So there is a tremendous presence for India. So whenever we think about the current times, actually, even in the COVID times, we have had a great collaboration with Kenya and with Africa in particular. In fact, India has launched several initiatives that could be beneficial for our friends in Africa and in Kenya especially. Recently, we have launched also an Atmanirbhar Bharat scheme. Of course, about opportunities in Kenya, we'll come to know from most of the speakers. But I would like to say that since the COVID has challenged the humankind, but like every other adversity, it has given us a new resilience, a fresh outlook, and the possibility of adapting to technology, which is more in sync with the requirements of the AI-driven Industrial Revolution 4.0, which is knocking on our doors, and in some countries, it's already on the way. We have had this Make in India, Made in India, Digital Innovate, Startup India, so many programs basically to bring India to come and work into the global and regional value supply chains, to plug them. Likewise, India has also offered more than $2 trillion in opportunity, and I hope some of the Kenyan businessmen or the people who are participating today will be able to use this facility. India has done well in the ICT and healthcare sectors. We have been supportive as far as capacity building is concerned. We have provided large number of scholarships to different countries because we believe something called Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which is not really world is one family, which is not merely a motto like that. It is something that we have imbibed in our daily lifestyles. It is in our nature, and it is our basic philosophy, which is share and care. Whatever we have, we share with our friends. And so we do that. And Africa, of course, can boast of fastest growing economies, some of the fastest growing economies in the world. But India is also emerging, and as the indications are, we might become a third largest economy in not too distant future. So I believe that a lot of things have happened in Kenya as well. I have been following quite a bit that because of the COVID, the Kenya has adapted to the digital payment system, and I believe that you have done superbly well in that. And several initiatives were taken by you and by other countries in the neighborhood. So the technology is the way to go forward, and I think India can provide the technology that will be adaptable, that will be usable by you, that will be accessible to you. And so it'll be much more easier that we find that way to work together. Now, last week, I think I saw High Commissioner's tweet, or I think that was the one in which he mentioned that Lal Path Labs were trying to enter into Kenya. That was just last week. So it goes to show that there is tremendous interest. And the previous High Commissioner, I remember, had spoken that one of the textile companies which was given LOC, under the LOC from India, had actually risen to the occasion, like many Indian companies, and which started producing PP kits and the masks, not only for Kenya, but for other countries. So that's also, again, something that goes in our favor, and I believe that that is something extremely important to work together. So you friends, you all know that India also has been exploring Africa, even though we have these umbilical links, so to say, with the continent. But for the first time, I found that when Prime Minister Modi defined an Africa policy through his 10 guiding principles, when he was speaking at the Ugandan Parliament in Kampala. And I think that those 10 points are extremely important. The first thing, the key thing that differentiates us from others is we believe in Africa for Africans, Africa by Africans. And therefore, we are there just to assist and be a partner in your progress. Of course, you mentioned that several things which we should work multilaterally. We should work together in the UN organizations. We should work bilaterally and through regional organizations. Happily, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement has been signed, and I think that will provide us a great possibility of an institutional linkage, which will give us a far more heft in the continent and to work together for a mutually benefit. So, friends, I feel that we can work together across the socio-economic spectrum and can really become preferred partners for prosperity of both the countries and people, especially focusing on trade, tourism, and technology as soon as the situation improves and while we are going through improving the situation. We are going to hear from all the great experts today. We have a distinguished panel of several speakers, but I would like to begin by inviting His Excellency Dr. Virender Paul, the India's High Commissioner to Kenya. Dr. Paul has wide and broad experience. Before proceeding to Kenya, he was the Additional Secretary or Vice Minister of the BIMSTEC, SAARC, and Nalanda. That is the region which is extremely important from our neighborhood point of view. And he was also working at our Foreign Service Training Institute as the Joint Secretary there. He has also worked as the Ambassador and Deputy Permanent Representative to the United Nations in Geneva, was the Deputy High Commissioner in the rank of Ambassador in London. He was our Minister of Press at the Indian Embassy in Washington. So he has a great and diverse experience. He also has worked in the Prime Minister's office, and he is one of the few officers we all look up to. And we also go back to our Russian days. Ambassador, the floor is yours. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you for this very generous introduction, and so very nice to see you, even though it's on my screen, but so nice to see you. Greetings from Nairobi to each and every one of you. I would like to share with you that Ambassador Trigunath has been a long-time friend and colleague in the Indian Foreign Service, and now it's so exciting, so very exciting for me to see him as a prolific writer and commentator on diverse foreign policy situations around the world. And thank you, Ambassador, for asking me to join. Delighted to be here with you all. There are, there's a good set of speakers for today's event, and there are, I can see on the screen, several others who have joined us as part of this important event. I think it's very much in order to bring the spotlight to Kenya in the larger framework of India's progressively strengthening, progressively consolidating multifaceted partnerships with the African continent. And in my view and in my own considered assessment of my 3 months here in Nairobi, I think Kenya holds a special place in this scheme of win-win partnerships, not only in East Africa or Greater East Africa, but in the continent as a whole. And I say this, I say this not because I represent India in Kenya, but I mean it on the basis of the actual potential that I think Kenya has and the promise it holds for a number of mutually beneficial collaborations in diverse areas. Before we move on to, or before we zoom into the economic dimension of this important relationship, bilateral relationship between India and Kenya in trade and investments, which is the topic for today, I would like to very briefly look at the larger picture of this relationship, and then we can move on to the trade and economic side. As Ambassador Trigunath said, India and Kenya, we share a long history of excellent relationship. It's a traditionally strong relationship. And in recent years, over the last 5 or 6 years, those of you who have been watching this relationship closely, you must have observed a rather rapid uh, upsurge in the interest that the international community and also the business community is taking in this bilateral relation. The Prime Minister of India visited Nairobi in 2016, and within a year, President Kenyatta visited India, and the exchange of these two visits at the highest political level have added a momentum that I think we were waiting for. So there is a relationship that has been re-energized at the highest political level. At other levels, we have seen that the minister level exchanges. We have a joint commission, bilateral joint commission, led at the level of foreign ministers. We have a joint trade committee, bilateral, led at the level of trade ministers. It's because of COVID that over the last a little more than a year, we haven't been able to meet. But there are proposals to have these meetings organized at the earliest possible, and we are in the process of scheduling these meetings. And over the years, especially over the last 4 or 5 years, since the exchange of visits at the level of the Prime Minister and the President, the menu of bilateral cooperation has also steadily expanded. In 2016, we signed a memorandum of understanding on defense and cooperation, defense and security cooperation. We already have good understanding in several other areas, including agriculture, science and technology, tourism, healthcare. Some of the areas, I won't go into much detail because Ambassador Trigunath has very broadly mentioned the level of interest that we have in India as we look at Africa as a very important partner in our foreign policy, both in the immediate term, mid-term, and long-term. It's an important dimension in our external engagement. And the location of Kenya in East Africa, being an important country in Western Indian Ocean, it adds to the strategic dimension of our relationship because the IOR region, we regard Kenya as an important partner in the Western Indian Ocean. And this opens up new opportunities which we are looking at. And in the times to come, we are going to have more such opportunities in terms of our cooperation in maritime security and the larger canvas of blue economy. I know, there are many experts here on the panel today. We would like to hear from them the practical aspects of business cooperation. But very briefly, I would like to touch upon certain factors. I would like to, really stress what are the factors, what brings the two countries together, and what is it that gives us confidence that the relationship has a bright future. And these factors that I think, keep us going, I would like to just mention. The first thing is that, we are both developing economies and we have shared interests and we have complementarity of interest. We are both democracies and open and pluralistic societies, shared aspirations, even shared anxieties. And there is this background commonalities that we share. This gives us predictability of actions and predictability of outcomes. This is very important because in Africa, in the larger business environment, since we are all practitioners, I think it's very important to see the various players in Africa in terms of the external economic engagement. I think India decidedly, beyond any doubt, is a partner that holds a great future. In the India-Kenya context, the factor of historical linkages and the familiarity that we have with each other is something that we consider very important. Then the ease of communications, the ease of communicating with each other, whether it's the cultural bonding or the goodwill that we enjoy for each other, and the English language. I think this also has traditionally helped us. the business cultures, how we conduct business in India and Kenya. In my little time, 3 years, 3 months so far, I think I can really smell it in the air that, we do business almost in the same way, both in India and Kenya, and whether it's the positives or whether there are any potential constraints. I think we understand each other very well. And last but not the least, which Ambassador Trigunath also mentioned, it's a vibrant, a very active and economically prosperous Indian diaspora. They are very, very enthusiastic about building, raising the level of our economic engagement as fast as possible. And we deeply value their contribution, not just to Kenya, but how they are building this relationship even further. I would, touch upon the sectors where India is focusing, and this is very clearly evident from the companies, Indian companies, which have established their offices in Kenya, because the focus areas attract the Indian companies, and I'll mention. In fact, there's a series of big names having their presence in Kenya. But in terms of sectors, I'll just mention pharmaceuticals, engineering and construction, infrastructure development, banking, insurance, healthcare and medical and wellness industry, consumer products, power generation, transmission, education, the entire value chain of the agro industry, and automobiles. I think from this we can gather very clearly and very easily that in terms of the menu of options and the areas of interest to the Indian side, and which the Kenyan side is reciprocating, I think it's very wide, and it is progressively widening. Ambassador Trigunath mentioned about an investment by India through a line of credit to Kenya, which is, I think, a shining example of what India can do, India and Kenya can do together. Now, this is about a revival of a textile enterprise in Eldoret. It's called Rivatex, and the investment, the line of credit, is worth about $30 million. And if you look at the impact that it has had, it has been really disproportionately high. And this is a very welcome outcome, that you invest an amount, and what you get in return for the Indian side in terms of the impact it has had on the revival of a particular industry, and the spin-offs that it has had. And here I would like to say that at the inauguration of this Rivatex enterprise in mid-2019, President Kenyatta had talked about the Big Four agenda, which you all know, manufacturing and housing and healthcare. These are some important areas which are all relevant to our bilateral cooperation. And this investment through LOC is now fully operational, and it has actually revived, we can say, the textile industry of Kenya. There have been enormous direct and indirect impacts, and the employment has grown, and also growth in incomes in cotton growers. The investment was made in one county, but the impact has been seen in 22 counties, and it has generated a direct employment of over 2,000 people, and indirect employment of over 10,000 people in the vicinity of that county. So, I just wanted to give a broad picture on the potential, and by way of example, that we have demonstrated that the potential is there and things are doable, and then the industry and businesses of both sides have demonstrated that it is not just talking about the potential, but there are things which can be done, and they are being done. And now I would look forward to hearing from our experts, the real practitioners of trade and industry on the ground. And with these words, I would like to thank Ambassador Trigunath once again for asking me to join. It is so very pleasant to see you, and it's so very pleasant to see you taking such deep interest in Africa and in particular Kenya. So thank you so very much, and I look forward to hearing from other participants. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Excellency. That was indeed very enlightening, and you really summed up very well. And a few points that I found were very interesting were that there is a predictability of actions and predictability of outcomes. That is what a businessman really looks for. That yes, the country is predictable and it's possible. So, and ease of communication is another very important aspect between our two businesses. And of course, as you mentioned, several sectors and the Big Four agenda, as was mentioned by His Excellency the President of Kenya. I think that the field is wide open. And once again, I would like to thank you for your support and for participating in this webinar. I would like to now invite His Excellency Dr. Bruno Leniuru, who is the Secretary of Trade, State Department for Trade and Enterprise Development. You see, nobody could be more perfect in this sense that he has a PhD in entrepreneurship and he's an MBA in finance and Bachelor of Commerce. And he has held many positions and chaired several state-owned enterprises during his 25 years with the government. And he has been responsible also for Buy Kenya policy, promotion of wholesale and retail markets, export promotion, fair trade practices, coordination of regional trade matters like COMESA, AGOA. So I believe that he will let us know what are the new opportunities that are coming and where the Indian companies can be. Excellency, Dr. Bruno, please, floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Anil. His Excellency, the Indian High Commissioner to Kenya, Honorable Commerce Secretary, officials of the Government of India, the officials of the Millennia India International Chamber of Commerce and Industry and Agriculture, business leaders and captains of industry, ladies and gentlemen, dear Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for this opportunity. I start also with the season's greetings and also apologies from the Principal Secretary in charge of trade in this ministry, Ambassador Johnson Weru, who is away on public engagement elsewhere. I'll say it's a great honor for me and the Kenyan delegation to be invited to this webinar on business and investment opportunities between Kenya and India. May I take this early opportunity to thank the Millennia India International Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture for organizing this forum, as it demonstrates your confidence that both our countries are ready for trade and investment. We acknowledge and appreciate the warm and cordial relations between our countries, with both countries having resident missions in each other's capital. India is an important economic partner and falls within the category of the top 10 major trading partners of Kenya. Kenya and India enjoy strong trade relations, with a bilateral trade agreement which was signed in 1981 still in force. Under this agreement, the two countries have Under this agreement, the two countries have an active joint trade committee, which provides a framework for discussion in areas of mutual interest with the objective of expanding bilateral ties and strengthening cooperation between the two countries in areas of economic trade. The volume of trade between the two countries has continued to increase over the years. In 2019, for instance, Kenya imported goods worth 1.6 billion USD against exports of USD 50 billion, hence causing a negative balance of trade to about 1.6. That's in favor of India. Kenya exports to India are mainly low value and processed agricultural and mineral products such as onions, shallots, carbonates, tea, fluorspar, oil, wool, leather from sheep and goats, and coconut, while imports from India are high value processed products such as oil, not crude, from petrol, medicaments, steel, motorcycles, machinery, many other more, and also semi-finished products of iron, motor vehicles, and construction materials. There is therefore need to reduce the huge trade balance of deficit between Kenya and India. Therefore, in order to reduce the tilted balance of trade in favor of India, Kenya is requesting Indian companies to invest, especially in the following key areas like the cotton and textile industry, the SME sector, education sector to build capacity of Kenyans in the areas of innovation and technology transfer, value addition in agro industries. We also have the Kenya export processing zones. We have fertilizer manufacturing industry since Kenya is a net importer of fertilizers. Tourism and hospitality, again, which is one of the fastest growing industries in the country and a leading foreign exchange earner. We also have opportunities in entertainment industry where India is far ahead of Kenya. We also have areas of business project outsourcing, assembly and manufacture of agricultural machines, cement manufacture for both domestic and exports, mining and polishing, among many others, polishing of the precious stones. Kenya has plenty of other viable investment opportunities that are suitable for Indian companies. Currently, under our Big Four agenda, which is an economic transformation agenda for the government, we have identified the following strategic areas, as already alluded to by His Excellency. Manufacturing, where we want to raise the share of manufacturing sector to at least 15% of GDP by supporting value addition to accelerate economic growth, create jobs, and reduce poverty. Indian companies should take advantage of the Kenya's conducive business environment to invest in the manufacturing sector. We also have food security, which aspires to ensure that all citizens enjoy food security and improved nutrition through expansion of food production and supply and reduction of food prices to ensure affordability and value addition in the food processing value chains. We also have universal health care. Under this, we aspire to achieve universal health coverage, thereby guaranteeing quality and affordable care. The last of those pillars under the Big Four is housing, where we aspire to have at least 500,000 affordable housing units. In addition to the above, Kenya also, the Vision 2030 presents many other attractive investment opportunities from small to large and mega, tourism, wholesale and retail trade, infrastructure, ICT, and education, among others. I would like to encourage more partnership between Kenya and India investors in Kenya. There are still untapped opportunities that businessmen from India can invest in, either through the private partnership with Kenyan companies, through the PPP model, or on their own. The opportunities are in areas of agribusiness, textile, and manufacturing. Trade statistics show that the trade imbalance is in favor of India, with high value of exports. Again, discussions in this meeting will enable us to work out areas where we can reduce this gap. We aspire to engage in transfer of technology, particularly through investments in SMEs and information technology to the levels that are close to the levels that India has reached, to enable us at least produce similar products for mutual trade relations. And as alluded to earlier on, we have signed several MOUs and cooperation agreements in the past, which is a clear testament to the fact that both countries have the desire to deepen and expand this relationship. I am confident that this continuous engagement will make major strides towards solidifying our relations for the common good of our countries and our people. I also look forward to both countries engaging in new areas of cooperation and MOUs. During this forum, we shall have the opportunity to deliberate on issues that will benefit our two countries. I urge all participants to take advantage of the forum. There are many other speakers from Kenya also will also present the visible and tangible opportunities that we have. I am confident that we shall continue to interact at all levels for the overall objective of improving our economic ties. I wish all of us fruitful discussions, and thank you.
Thank you, Excellency, for those very kind words, and you clearly identified the areas in which there are greater opportunities in the vibrant marketing environment of your country. And I think the Indian companies are going to take advantage of that. And we'll be learning more about this from other speakers as well, exactly how they can proceed. Of course, you mentioned about the low value exports, and I think that the way forward is to create value addition and then export. And secondly, I always hear from every country that there is a problem of trade deficit. But as they say, trade is a two-way street. And so we have to, it depends on the competitive advantage at a given particular time. And then the countries become exporters to some other countries and importers of some other countries. We have exactly the same kind of situation with some of our major partners. But that is the nature of the trade. And I'm quite sure that the Indian businesses, and if there are any major problems, we'll definitely take into account. I'm very happy to invite Ms. Lucy Muchoki, who's very keen about the food security in Africa and creation of small businesses around this industry. She believes that Africa economic transformation will be achieved through dedicated development support with a special focus on agriculture, small businesses, and the youth. He's founded Pan-African Agribusiness and Agro-Industry, a consortium called PANAC, a continental private sector organization which is represented across the continent. So she's well placed to discuss, as she's also the board member of Agriculture Sector Network under Kenya Private Sector Alliance, KEPSA. And I believe that she will throw more information apart from what is happening in the African continent also per se, exactly how the AFCFTA would be benefiting various countries. So I would like to request Ms. Muchoki to please, floor is yours.
Thank you very much.
Yes, madam.
Yes, thank you very much. Your Excellency, our Ambassador of India to Kenya, Dr. Vivanda Paul, we welcome you to Kenya. We're very happy to have you with us. Our host, Ambassador Anil Trikujat, very happy that you've invited us to start this important discussion. Our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Thank you. My name, as mentioned, is Lucy Muchoki. I'm here today wearing my hat as the chair for Technical Business Committee at the Kenya National Chambers of Commerce and Industry. And I'm here representing our president, Mr. Richard Gatia, who would have wanted to be with us today because he really believes in this partnership between Kenya and India. Ladies and gentlemen, India is not new to Kenya. We know that our partnership started way back from the 17th century when the Indians came to Kenya during the construction of the Kenya-Uganda Railway. Since then, the Indians have settled here, a number of them. In fact, most of them have now been born and we have accepted them as our 44 tribe in Kenya. Because they're part of us, we have shared a lot and we continue to share. And therefore, we welcome even the Indians staying in your country there to continue working with us, just like we have welcomed our brothers and sisters from India. As mentioned, we are still saying we need to do more with you. And this, you are very, we know that there's been a lot of discussions around this. We have seen both our president, Uhuru Kenyatta, and your Prime Minister Modi signing the MOU that stipulate areas of collaboration. I don't need to go into this, but we have our two speakers, the first one who has just spoken, and we'll be having our investment general manager from Kenya Invest, who will deep dive onto the investment opportunities around Kenya and India that you can take advantage of. But I'm more keen to discuss about agriculture because that's an area that I'm very keen on, and an area that I really feel we can work very well together. Today, Kenya exports to India soda ash, vegetables, and tea. I know we can increase these volumes, but we also want to allow you, welcome you to invest more in Kenya and do more business with us. I want to mention what we have done as a country and what brings us together as Africans. We have a program called Comprehensive African Agriculture Development Program. That's CAADP. Under CAADP, we always come up with a national investment plan. Last year, we launched our Kenya Agricultural Investment Plan, which we call ASTGS, Agricultural Sector Transformation and Growth Strategy. In this particular investment plan, we've laid out clear areas of developing our country in terms of agriculture. We've looked at different areas. How can we support our smallholder farmers? Just like in India, Kenya is an agri-based country. More than 70% of our livelihoods is based on agribusiness and agriculture. We know that also in India, 58% of your population depends on agriculture. We know that India is more food secure than we are here in Kenya. I want to mention one thing that inspires Africans and Kenya as a country. We are very proud of the Green Revolution achievement in India. That is something that we want to borrow from you. How did you become food secure? What are these technologies, farm inputs, IT solutions that you adapted that drove you to achieve your Green Revolution? In Africa today, and may our former president of African Agriculture Revolution, Green Revolution, AGRA, Kofi Annan, so rest in peace, he saw it very helpful that we also come with a plan like yours. So Africa has adapted, is trying to adapt the same formula, the same approach like you have done in achieving what we call the AGRA, the African Agricultural Revolution. In our strategy, what we have done, we've looked at 3 key areas. The first area is on looking at the smallholder farmers. How can we ensure that the smallholder farmers are supported and we are able to increase food value addition? Most of our food, even our export, is in raw materials. So we see a very good, a very key and a very clear point of India coming to Africa, working with this in food value addition. So there's a clear opportunity for you in this. Secondly, we have realized that we need to work with you, like you have done before. You have used the NABARD, the way you have supported the smallholders financing through that kind of model. We want to borrow your model. We want to work with you and see how we can establish that kind of financing for our smallholder farmers. I know that would like you have a representative, but we want to see more of us working with you because we know that India share more with Africans. We have a lot of familiarity, a lot of synergies, and would be very happy to work with you and borrow your route and the way you do your things. We have also identified agro-food hubs or agro-food processing parks. India has succeeded in this. example of the Gujarat Agro-Food Park and others. Kenya want to invest in 6 key agro-food parks and others, but these six, we have managed to clearly articulate them and put them as a priority in our ASTGS, Agriculture Sector Transformation Growth Strategy. Would like to work with you in setting up these agro-food hubs. So you are welcome to do this with us. We want to know how you succeeded. And this is a clear way that we can partner with you. We've also looked at the way you have managed to embrace irrigation. That's some of the part of your success in agriculture. And you know that you have very good technologies in irrigation. We have set aside 50 new large-scale private farms, each to 2,500 acres. Under these, we want 150,000 acres to be put under irrigation. I have had a chance once to interact with Jain Irrigation based in India. And I learned a lot as a person, and I saw a lot of their technology, their modern technology. We really want to say time is now for us to come and sit together, see how we can borrow these technologies from you. I've also had an opportunity to interact with one of your other company, CropLife, which is working on IT-driven, digital-driven technology. That is very important because one of the biggest problems we have, not just in Kenya, but in Africa as a whole, we lose more than 50% of our food through post-harvest management. Would like to borrow your concept of using the IT to ensure that we are able to manage not just the plant, the production. We also want to borrow your IT all the way to manage the farms, to be able to know our food system, how it looks like, and how we can ensure that we are able to have resilience in the storage so that we stop this food wastage. So indeed, we have more areas that we'd like to discuss, but these few are areas that I clearly feel we need to work together and drive the agricultural transformation. And we have a lot of faith that with you, we can go very far. We want to ensure that we boost our household food resilience. So we'll be looking at those technologies of storing food. How do you store your food? And how can we work together in this? So indeed, I'm really looking forward to ensuring that we borrow from each other and we can be able to supply some of the cereals that you take. I know you'd have a big demand of cereals. At one time, there was an agreement that we could also outgrow for you cereals from this country. And we are still very keen on doing that. So let's continue exploring areas of working together. I look forward to our long-term engagement. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Lucy. That was an amazing presentation. And as you rightly mentioned, we both are agricultural countries. And we both can learn a lot. And the food security is going to be one of the biggest achievements that we can have through our joint collaboration. And I think that there is a thinking in India to work more closely as far as private sector and agriculture is concerned through the public sector. And your various areas that you mentioned are very, very important. And I think in India, we do have expertise. At the same time, we are willing to work together. And I'm sure our High Commission would be able to take it forward. But at the same time, I can also tell you, apart from the private sector, that I'm also an international advisor with an organization called National Cooperatives Development Corporation. Now, this is a Parliament had set it up, and it's a financing organization which we had conducted the training for the Kenyan experts 3 months ago. It was a webinar, And I'll be very happy to connect through them with you, and so that they can provide the requisite information and the sustenance and support that you are looking forward to. Thank you very much for sharing those thoughts, and we have clearly identified certain areas of cooperation. Now I would like to invite Mr. Sachin Gutka, who has been the immediate past chairman of the Kenyan Association of Manufacturers. He is a person who has been there for many, many years, at least 25 years, so he says, and he has been a chairman of Chrome Partners and chairman Print Exchange Limited, the company, and also is an owner and director of Armor East Africa Imaging Supply and several others. So he's a director of diverse group of companies, printing companies in India, and I'm quite sure he will be able to tell us if the Indian companies who are going there for getting into some kind of manufacturing or joint production, what are the things that they should be more careful. He has a very wide range of experience and a very rich biodata, but I would like to invite Mr. Gutka to share his experience. Mr. Gutka.
Thank you so much for the kind introduction, Your Excellency Anil, High Commissioner Anil, and also very warm welcome to Nairobi for the High Commissioner, for Your Excellency, Mr. Paul as well. So look forward to meeting you in person at some stage, COVID permitting. But ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, all protocols observed. I think from my perspective and where I sit, we had a joint venture with an Indian company that we set up in 2005. It was India's largest labeling company called Interlabels, and we set up a joint venture with them called Interlabels Africa, based in Nairobi. And I'm actually happy to say that it's been 15 years of coexistence and growth. We're now the largest labeling company in the region. We also have, at our India plant, we have plants in Mumbai, Badi, and in Guwahati as well as one in Delhi. So basically, I'm aware of the business situation in both countries, in Kenya and India. A Norwegian multinational then came and bought out both the Indian company as well as our joint venture here in Nairobi, but I still continue to run it. So I think overall, it's been a good growth journey. Obviously, I think Ambassador Anil, you referred to the cordial relations and the good prospects we have. In fact, I was there when Prime Minister Modi came to Kenya, and we witnessed the signing of the MOU and so on. So it was very good to be present. The business conditions here, Kenya, I think, is really the economic and manufacturing engine for the region. Recently, we've seen a lot of exporters and Indian companies move and invest in Ethiopia. Ethiopia has a lot of things going for it: cheap power, fairly cheap workforce, decently educated workforce, land is available, and obviously a domestic consumer base of 110 million people. However, obviously there are political issues currently in Ethiopia. There's obviously chronic foreign exchange as well in Ethiopia. So I would suggest, I mean, Kenya, we've never really had those sorts of issues. Although the domestic market is about 50 million people, the East African community size is in the region of 200 million plus people. And although the community's been in existence for 20 years, although it's not perfect, it works decently, and there's a lot of intra-community trade. There are a few barriers to trade, both tariff barriers as well as non-tariff barriers, but generally the economic community works well. I would also like to recommend that Kenya would be a good staging post for most Indian companies with regard to the African Continental Free Trade Area. Ambassador Anil, I think you referred to that. It's a huge opportunity. It kicked off officially on the 1st of January. It's like creating an economic community for Africa. Although a lot of tariff negotiations and rules of origin negotiations still have to take place, I believe the spirit of the agreement will lead to at least the early movers having tariff-free access to each other. An example is, for example, Kenya to export to Ghana and Ghanaians to export to Kenya, for example, because they were one of the first countries to sign, and there's mutual understanding that they want to make, they want to increase trade and investment between both countries. So I would say you'll probably see a small level of bilateral springing up until the full agreement kicks off. And I would advise Indian companies to position themselves properly and to make sure that they do take advantage of an opportunity, a very large opportunity that awaits them. In terms of the manufacturing sector here in Kenya, I think the whole issue is, I mean, I used to chair the Kenya Association of Manufacturers. We have about 1,000 members in manufacturing in the region. Ambassador Anil, just to give you a bit of context, there are 450 Chinese companies in Kenya, and 130 of them manufacture. So it's significantly larger than the Indian investments, and it would be a great opportunity, also being a third generation Indian born in Kenya, for us to see greater investment from India come through. And I believe whoever is here has, a lot of them have done well, some haven't. However, I think that depends on the sectors they're in and what position they play in within their sectors. But I agree with you. The Big Four agenda basically consists of manufacturing. It consists of affordable healthcare. Universal healthcare. It consists of affordable housing, and the last one was agriculture, making sure that we have food security. And there's a real thrust to ensure that there is value-added agriculture. For example, Kenya is selling avocados. There's a real thrust to make sure it sells avocado oils, it sells guacamole, and so on, rather than the primary agricultural products. And there are significant opportunities also in the tea sector, which have opened up. So value addition for tea is a big one for the Kenyan tea industry, and given the total output is bigger than Sri Lanka and so on, the intention is to make sure. At the moment, Kenya only exports 2.7% of its tea as value added. The rest is sold in bulk form, but the ambition for the government is actually to make sure value-added tea accounts for at least 30%. So that's a significant step, and I know there are some Pakistani, Indian, and Sri Lankan companies looking to invest into the tea value addition sector as well. With regard to actual manufacturing, there are significant opportunities in textiles itself, having integrated textile mills. I also sit on the board of the power utility here in Kenya, called the Kenya Power and Lighting Company. And although power is not cheap by any means in Kenya, at least the quality of power is there and the consistency is there. But there will be significant incentives even on power given to large power consumers. So for example, if you have an integrated textile mill, plus if you're into iron ore smelting and so on, there could be incentives in place for people to capitalize on these investments. Overall, I would say Kenya is a good platform from which to to invest in to trade with the other partners in Africa. The support structure is very good. There are no real issues on foreign exchange compared to many other countries in Africa. The economic climate is stable, and although it's not the most competitive market by any means in Africa, it is close to it. When we talk about inward competitiveness, process competitiveness, as well as outbound competitiveness. So overall, it is an attractive investment decision, attractive investment area, and definitely I would encourage people to consider not only to increase the trading relationship, but also to consider the investment relationship as well. I hope that's okay, Ambassador Anil, Your Excellency.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gutka. That was the very realistic assessment, which will help tremendously to our friends who are looking forward to do business. You have identified several areas. I'm quite sure that you will also be approached by many of the people here to guide them as and when required. You very correctly mentioned that the Chinese have a very big presence there. And as the High Commissioner had also spoken about India's increased emphasis in more strategic domain, I believe that all these sectors are equally important where we can continue to work more closely with our Kenyan friends. Thank you once again for that. Now to continue on the same stream, I would like to invite Mr. P.S. Rotich, who is the team leader the investment promotion and business development services at the KenInvest. He is an international marketing expert, and I'm quite sure that he'll be telling us what are the exact benefits that the companies trying to invest in Kenya have with regard to various zones, whether they're EPZ or special economic zones. So I hope he's here, Mr. Rotich.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, please, welcome. Welcome, my friend.
Yeah, thank you very much and welcome all for this session. I would have liked to share my PowerPoint presentation, but I will share with you so that you can share with the other colleagues who have attended today's session. So I want to say that Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Pius Rotich, as you have been told. I work at the Kenya Investment Authority and leading the team of investment promotion and business development services. That is for those seeking to invest in Kenya, be it foreigners, we give them opportunities for them to invest in. And then for the locals, the domestic investors, we encourage them to partner with the foreign investors so that we can take this country forward. So we are saying that on behalf of the board of directors and management of the Kenya Invest, we wish to welcome you to this session, this presentation of KenInvest. And I want to say that my boss, Dr. Moses Ekiara, has just given an apology because he's been held up with other activities. So we welcome all new investors to the country and business people to do business in Kenya. And we encourage those already established to reinvest, like my colleague Kudke here, who is actually doing very good work in terms of manufacturing. And we want you to expand your investments. We at the Kenya Investment Authority, since you are a government agency, we will support you or facilitate so that you may acquire a smooth way to invest in this country. We have one of the state-of-the-art one-stop center for investors, which is ready to actually take you on board. So I want to say that our today's topic is very important because this is it's a business forum between us, Kenya and India, that is the host Millennial India International Chamber of Commerce and Industry and Agriculture, and which is headquartered in New Delhi. And we want to say that you feel free to be with us because as my colleague said initially, Lucy, that Asian community or the Indian community is the 44th tribe here in the Republic of Kenya. I remember one time when I visited India, I visited Coimbatore, Mumbai, and Chennai. When I landed for the first time, I felt that I didn't feel that I was away from home, but I felt that this is just like Kenya. These are the people whom we interact with every day, and the food and everything is very nice. So we want to say that you are welcome to come and do business here. And for record, don't maybe you may get maybe about the Chinese investments in Kenya, but I want to say that the number one investor in Kenya is UK, the Britain, because we have historical background with them because they were our colonial masters. Number two investor for your information is India. So it is very important to say that India has done very well here. The investments are quality, and we are seeing a lot of aggressiveness within the Indian community. The new investors who are coming in from India, and those who are expanding, we are seeing them very aggressive now. And we want to say that we will hold your hands so that we will be able to come and do business in the country. So we at Kenya Investment Authority, we are a government agency, which is a statutory body. We are established in 2004, and with the main aim objective of promoting investments in Kenya. We report through the Federal Ministry of Trade, Industry and Enterprise Development, but we cut across all sectors of the economy. Kenya Investment Authority is responsible for facilitating investment in new projects. We provide aftercare services for new and existing investments, as well as organizing promotional events, both locally and internationally. So what we are saying is that this is the home of investors. What we are saying is that this is the home of new Indian investors to come and start business doing in Kenya. And we are saying for those who have already invested, we take care of you because you are a very important testimonials for us. Like Gudke has just said that this is the most preferred investment destination. So I don't want actually to dilute that, but I want to assure you that you are in the right place. I want to say that Africa's story is changing. Africa is rising at the moment. Africa has got leaders, vision, strategy, plan, and all sorts of niceties, human resource, tourism, agriculture, and minerals. And Kenya's story, likewise, is changing for the better. We are located in East Africa, as you are aware, and we lie across the equator, and we are bordering Somalia, Ethiopia, Sudan, Uganda, Tanzania, and Indian Ocean. That is what we are saying. We are saying that this is Eastern Africa, with a population of almost 200 million people. So it's a good opportunity for you to come and do business here because we have got a sizable population to consume your products or services. And actually, if you look at the whole of Africa, the region which is actually doing well in terms of GDP growth and facilitating investors is East Africa region. Especially now, Kenya is the hub of that region. So why Kenya and why now? Kenya is one of the sub-Saharan Africa's most exciting locations and home to some of the world-leading successful brands. So we want to say that Kenya is the largest and the most advanced economy in the region, and this makes Kenya the hub of Eastern Africa. We are actually strategically located, which accords Kenya preferential market access to regional and international markets. We have highly developed social and physical infrastructure in the whole region, and we have about 4 international airports, an extensive road network and railway network, and largest port in the region. And we are expanding and we are liberalizing the sector, as Mr. Kulka has said, and we have a well-established digital telecommunications network, and so on and so forth. With pro-investment, strong government of the Republic of Kenya, led by His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, it has been quite a big infrastructure projects so as to link itself with other East African countries such as Tanzania, South Sudan, Uganda, Rwanda, and Burundi. So when you are here, actually we are saying you are within touch with all the Eastern Africa region. And courtesy of our Kenya Airways, you can actually fly to any part of Africa, any capital of Africa within 5 hours to the far Western Africa, 1 hour each across East Africa. And we are saying that you can work in Nairobi, go to your offices in the region and come back. We have preferential market access, as it has been said, the EAC, the East African Community, COMESA, the CFTA, Continental Free Trade Area, and we have actually seriously had a discussion with UK after post-Brexit, and we have signed some of the bilateral trade agreements, and we are now in discussion with the US so that we can keep ourselves, so that because whatever investment happening in Kenya, whether be it with an Indian company or with any other company, it becomes a Kenya limited company when you operate in Kenya. So you can access all that market as we proceed. We have a pool of highly educated and skilled workforce, very youthful, productive, and skilled, and about 57% of the population, of course, well equipped to meet the labor requirements of the industry. I want to say that MNCs or multinational corporations present in Kenya or current investors, actually companies like global brands like Google, IBM, Kempinski, Toyota, and of course from India we have got several other companies which includes Tata Group, ESA, Reliance Industries, Bharti Airtel, and so on and so forth. So this is actually the home of world's most successful brands in Africa. So don't be left behind in terms of looking for where to situate yourself so that you can conquer Africa. Because they say that if you want to conquer, if you conquer Nairobi, you will have conquered the whole of Africa. So be in Kenya at the right time, be in Nairobi at the right time, so that we can work together towards your success in terms of doing business in the region. So what does Kenya offer? My colleagues, those who have spoken, have mentioned about opportunities under the Vision 2030, which the government has enacted so that it can take us to a middle-income earning country by the year 2030. We've talked about the Big Four agenda, and we work very well with the private sector, especially the private sector associations, and we're saying that whatever sectors which have been mentioned by the past speakers, and including Mr. Kudga, Lucy, and Liniru, I want to say that we have no other thing to offer, but to say that we follow that the vision of the government together, because we are focused on delivering the development to Kenyans by the year 2030 and by the year 2022. We have the government support, which is to enable doing business environment, which is good in the region. And we have got market access through SCFTA, continental area. And as I've said, the strong upcoming Kenya-US FTA, and currently trade deal post-Brexit, which has been signed last month. So my colleagues have talked about the Big Four areas and the Vision 2030, and there's nothing much to add, because I want to say that if I can just say in passing, Kenya, of course, welcome all investments from India, and it has always been welcome to foreign investors, and has taken many steps to increase the ease of doing business in the country. We have predictable policies to guide investors, and as I've said, the government, in collaboration with the private sector, civil society, and the rest, we formulated the Big Four, the Kenya Vision 2030. The immediate priority of the government of Kenya economic development is funded refers to as the Big Four agenda. So these the sectors which have been identified are in the food security, and we want to focus ourselves on smart agriculture and mechanization, which is being encouraged to enhance yields and improve efficiencies in agriculture sector value chain. We have manufacturing, and we have universal healthcare. I want to repeat what my fellow speakers has talked about. Housing. In terms of housing, we have a deficit which is estimated at about 200,000, 250,000 units annually, against a supply of about 500,000. The government intends to develop about 500,000 units through PPPs modeled by the next year. The government will provide land, rules and regulations for the development of the projects, and already a structure has been put in place for funding for the project. Opportunities also exist in applying low-cost housing techniques, and we know Indian companies are very good in construction, so the issue of housing is a major opportunity for you. In summary, we have a wide range of potential areas for investment which Indian companies can consider investing in key sectors of the economy, as indicated above. That is agriculture and agro-processing, manufacturing, construction and real estate development, infrastructure development, ICT, blue economy, energy, hospitality and tourism, health, fintech and financial services, petroleum, mining, others. So while there was a disruptive COVID-19 pandemic, which happened the whole of almost last year and is still with us right now, where it's a lot of opportunities. In terms of chemical and cosmetics, we are looking at manufacture of liquid disinfectants like alcohol, paint sanitizers. In textiles and apparels, we have manufacture of personal protective equipment, PPEs, e.g. gloves, face masks, surgical clothes, surgical caps, and so on and so forth. Pharmaceutical, we have manufacturing of drugs, consumable and diagnostic equipment, e.g. PCR test kits, antibody testing, and so on and so forth. Metal and allied, that is the tech electronics, manufacture of clinical care equipment like oxygen cylinders, flow meters and regulators, ICU beds, stretchers, isolation tents, and so on and so forth. So what you are saying is that COVID-19 actually brought opportunities for the above mentioned sectors. We urge all our potential partners in this forum to keenly follow what the government of Kenya is doing in terms of providing trade and investment between Kenya and India, so as to assure their members of continued support and partnership to enable us attract Indian companies to the country. Kenya Invest will always be there to support you. And during the crisis of the COVID-19, in line with the government's directive aimed at combating the spread of COVID-19 virus, Kenya Invest, of course, continued to extend our services to investors. But of course, we're observing social distance unless meetings which are very, very critical. We will continue to provide our investors quality services through digital, of course, means. We take the health, safety, and well-being of our employees, investors, and other members of our community very seriously, and we are committed to play our role in the fight against the virus. During the crisis, of course, investors continue to reach us via text, mobile, email, and through our case management system, which is available. We also we are also in the government of Kenya task force on managing a business response center to deal with emerging issues because there are a lot of investors who are facing uncertainties, and therefore the government of Kenya formed a task force to look after investors. If you have any question or concerns, you would like to start a process of implementing your investment projects in the country, do not hesitate to contact us, especially through our case management system during this time of COVID-19. We believe, of course, we will crush the virus, and our normal services will resume soonest. In the meantime, we thank you for making Kenya your preferred investment home, and wish you and your families good health and safety during this crisis period and beyond. We post regular updates of COVID-19 in collaboration with the government of Kenya agencies, and therefore you will be able to study how the pandemic is being handled in the country. So we are saying that we positively handle the virus, and we took care of our existing investors and all, of course, those who are making inquiries, to ensure that we continued serving them. So Kenya Investors also what we call a portal, what you call e-opportunities portal, and it is linking investors with investment opportunities in Kenya. I will share with you the presentation so that you will be able to see that portal. To support this initiative, the Kenya Investment Authority developed this investment portal. It is a one-stop shop for information on investment opportunities in the country. It links promoters and investors to develop investments in Kenya. Promoters, of course, are usually asked to approve their investment projects prior to approval. Kenya Invest has to give a go-ahead. So there is that investment portal, which is very critical. And we have got, right now, we have got about 183 projects, which we recently uploaded, and take advantage and go through that portal so that you can be able to acquaint yourself with the latest projects up for grabs in the country. We've talked about market access, and we have said that it's massive market access, which is amounting to 29 trillion through AGOA, that is the African Growth and Opportunity Act, the USA, the EPAS, through the, to the EU, COMESA, which is part of the about 21 African countries, CFTA, which covers the whole of Africa, and we are discussing Brexit, post-Brexit deal, trade deal, so that we can support trade between Kenya and the UK and the US. So we are saying that best marketing strategies to foreign investors to Kenya. So I want you to really pay attention on this, because here are some of the strategies that foreign companies can consider. You can export and do value addition to Kenya. You can do joint venture. You can franchise. You can carry out mergers and acquisitions, strategic alliance. Other opportunities, of course, are in establishing trading companies to serve Kenya or the region or African region as a whole, because Indian products are acceptable. Then you can set up continental or popular brands in the country to target fast-moving, growing middle class, foreign residents who are living in Kenya and Africans based in Nairobi.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rotich. Thank you. We're really thankful to you, sir, for your. Please, can you mute yourself? All attendees, I request you to kindly mute yourselves. It disturbs the speakers.
Hello?
Thank you.
Do I continue?
Yeah, I mean, we have 3 more speakers, if you don't mind. We'll also, we know that you are the one-stop shop. So anybody wanting to invest must approach Mr. Rotich and the Kenya Invest, and they'll be providing all the information. And we will receive your presentation, which we'll share with all the participants.
Yeah,
and
so
we'll
let
be
me
answering all the queries, sir. Thank you once again. Very much.
Let me just say, in conclusion,
yes, please.
In conclusion, we are saying that you can work and live in Kenya comfortably. You can live good life. In Kenya, you can fool your fullest. Kenya offers many advantages that make it choice for settlement and investments in the region. The spectacular and diverse nature with landscapes ranging from mountains, beautiful beaches. So you can enjoy life, you can do your business and enjoy life. I want to quote Richard Quest, the CNN business reporter, who said that I've traveled to many countries to report on business news. However, nothing matches the business acumen and readiness for investments that I have observed in Kenya, including the World Bank optimism to a marvelous GDP growth of about 7%. As we embark on the maiden direct flight from Nairobi to New York, I must say Kenya is the new business destination in Africa. And on July 2014, Mr. Stephen Hayes, the Corporate Council on Africa president, said, if you are going to do business in Africa, Kenya is almost a requirement. Kenya's importance continues to computationally expand for us. We are headquartered in UAP Old Mutual in Nairobi, and we have also regional offices in the region to serve investors across the board. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Share the presentation with you.
Thank you, Mr. Otis. Thank you so much. It was very, very useful and very important what you conveyed to us. I would now like to invite Ms. Sheila Sudhakaran, who has been a former Assistant Secretary General of Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industries, the biggest chamber for many years. And she's been a good friend and very devout votary of the collaboration with Africa. And now she's an editor of transcendafrica.com and brings out a e-fortnightly, Africa for You. And I would request her to share her thoughts exactly how the business can be, or interaction between the two, Kenya and India, be moved forward. You have about 8 to 10 minutes, please.
Yeah, sure. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Is that fine?
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Mr. Anil Tirgunayat, and thank you for those nice words. the respected other colleagues, our esteemed participants. It's a pleasure for me on behalf of trendsinafrica.com and Africa for You to be here today to share my thoughts and views on the business opportunities in Kenya. In my long association with Africa during my days in FICCI, I had the privilege to travel extensively in Africa, and like Mr. Pius Roches just now said, I also have felt a special feeling when I traveled to Kenya. The cool climate, the flora, the fauna, everything, it has such similarity with some of the hill stations in southern India where I belong to. I used to feel perfectly at home in Kenya, and it holds a special place in my heart in all my association with Africa. Well, from our digital platforms, we have been following the economic and business news of Kenya very passionately and very religiously, because, Kenya plays a central role, and it is the business hub of East Africa and rest of Africa. Therefore, naturally, when we talk about the country, Kenya as a country and its economic prospects, this cannot be viewed in isolation, but in the backdrop of the entire continent. Now, Kenya is increasingly becoming a big gateway to the rest of Africa. It also has proved some very unique leadership in Africa, particularly when you mention Kenya, M-Pesa, which emerged as the most successful fintech firm in Africa, started from Kenya. It revolutionized mobile transactions and then spread across to Africa. Another thing, when you think of Kenya, the first thing which comes to you is that cut flowers, the export of cut flowers. Kenya, I think, is the fifth largest exporter of cut flowers, and it 70% of its exports go to Europe. So Kenya has created a sort of business niche for itself. It has stamped its own personality in the African continent. With a vibrant private sector, generally reliable infrastructure, and a strong young labor force, Kenya has been regarded as a potential economic powerhouse in sub-Saharan Africa. However, like any other economies, during the COVID has also wreaked its havoc in Kenya also, like all of us in all of the developing countries and developed countries. The lockdown has affected the manufacturing sector, the service sector, the agriculture sector, etc. Anyway, and of course, added to that, there is the debt burden also. However, World Bank is quite optimistic, saying that it expects Kenya to come back to its growth orbit in a year or two. It has estimated a real gross domestic growth rate of 1.5% for the 2020. When you look down, of course, the economic activity due to COVID was affected, left its impact on the Kenyan economy. However, some of the sectors had to take some extra impact, like agriculture sector of Kenya, the severe blow it suffered because of the locust attacks also, and the drop in investment and trade because of the COVID-19 also contributed to the economic issues. So there is a need for countries like India and Kenya to come together and promote mutual cooperation, promote investment, trade, technology transfer. And this initiative of Millennium Chamber comes very timely, because as early birds, we should be able, now that the lockdown is easing down and the vaccination is also coming, it's time that friends like India and Kenya, come together for mutually beneficial cooperation. Well, though economic activity was, like any other country, was affected because of the COVID. When you look when we look at the, the way the COVID, the way Kenya has survived COVID, it has survived in a very fairly well manner, recording very limited deaths and cases compared to many other developed countries. So in fact, it has proved its resilience even here when during the days of COVID, and now we can also see green shoots in some of the sectors. Given the limitation of time, I will just, and since many speakers have already pointed out certain sectors, I will restrict myself to only about 3-4 sectors. For example, the ICT sector. I am picking up about 3-4 sectors where there is, which has shown clear signs of revival and recovery. The first one is ICT sector. When you take the case of the technology companies, companies in information, communications and technology sector accounted for 14.1% of new job opportunities in Kenya. The higher employment in the IT sector mainly came due to the working from home and the online education, online learning also. Also, surveys have pointed out that there has been a good demand for IT services. So, and COVID has ushered in digitalization also. So here is the opportunity for SME companies for in e-commerce, IT services, IT and allied services, etc. It offers excellent opportunities which SMEs should tap. The next very important sector for Kenya is tourism and hospitality. As we all know, Kenya has been a favorite destination for global tourists, and it has been attracting, a lot of tourists from all over the world. Even particularly during the Christmas and New Year holidays, tourists from Western countries, to escape the biting cold, come and celebrate the New Year in Kenya. Again, because of the COVID, the tourist arrivals had reduced sharply. But this year, the Christmas and New Year, one can see that it has improved. The tourist traffic has improved and the business travel has improved. And some of the hotels had reported even 65% occupancy rate. Now that the vaccine is here, and I'm sure in the next 2-3 months, the hospitality, the tourism sector will bounce back to its earlier glory. Therefore, here are opportunities in the hotels, travel, tourism, and allied services sector. The next sector which is very promising is agribusiness. Panic and the disruption has brought spotlight back on the agriculture and agribusiness. For Kenya, agriculture sector is a key pillar, generating about 26% of the country's GDP. As I said, export of cut flowers, tea, etc. are very important in its basket. And India also imports, and this cut flowers is exported all across the globe. With the ease of lockdown, the demand is returning back to the agriculture sector. As we know, Kenya is a major producer of fruits and vegetables, cut flowers, everything. So the demand is returning back. And moreover, food security being one of the government's big 4 priorities, the sector gets a top priority. It has it has also significant development impact given the high employment and growth multipliers also. The opportunities here are, as pointed by the other speakers, is in the value addition. Kenya, value addition relative to agriculture production is low in Kenya. So numerous opportunities exist in ICT adoption, then in managing farms, harvest storage, setting up agribusiness value chains, cold storage, etc., that could unlock the productivity. Again, as pointed out, tea, value addition to tea is also an important segment. Agriculture food hubs also. And another thing, of course, it was pointed out that there is a keen interest for Kenya to follow the example of India in green revolution. Similarly, the white revolution of India, in the production of milk and the processing of milk, is another area which offers opportunities. The next sector, which already pointed out, which is part of the big four, priority 4, is manufacturing. Again, disruption of global value chain convinced many of the developing countries, in fact, the whole of Africa and all the developing world, to have the basic structures in manufacturing in place. Pandemic was a wake-up call for them, to get these things in place, and particularly for the health sector. With the low insurance penetration, I read the other day that in Kenya, COVID patients are advised to stay at home, and they are given kits of thermometer, medication, etc. They are provided these kits by the insurance companies, so that they they can comfortably stay at home and recover from there. Here is an opportunity for diagnostics companies, then providing the other companies who can provide the medical kits, etc. Similarly, in the health sector, medical education, I have specific requests from medical online education companies who have shown interest in getting into Africa, and particularly Kenya, because of the English language advantage. There is a company who is in the medical education sector, who is very keen to enter Kenya. Even they are prepared to give, they will customize the medical syllabus, and also they are prepared to give 3 months trial, free trial for Kenya to adopt that. Similarly, Kenya has a relatively diversified manufacturing sector. Pharmaceuticals is one sector where Indian companies has a lot of scope. Of course, textiles and apparels has also been pointed out. And I'm glad to hear that some of the Indian companies are already there and doing successful business. Some other developments which will certainly spur the growth, of course, which has been already pointed out, is that the Continental Free Trade Agreement. Kenya, with its strategic position, its language advantage, and as a major player in the East African region, stands to gain, can certainly act as a gateway to the entire Africa for companies who wants to set up business in Africa. Another, Kenya has also recently opened a new trade corridor between Kenya and Ethiopia, which also facilitates trade with some the neighboring countries, which again proves the point that Kenya can act as a gateway or hub for trade and investment. So manufacturing facilities, if you set up manufacturing facilities in Kenya, because of this trade corridor and its agreement through the AFTA agreement also, this can be a launching pad for companies to tap the business potential of the rest of Africa. Of course, another important strength of India is the strong diaspora in Africa, and particularly India, the most active diaspora, which is very ready to support the Indian business who wants to explore business opportunities. Thank you. Thank you. I hope I have kept the time.
Yes, you have not only kept the time, you have very succinctly focused on certain issues that were extremely important areas where people can get benefit, and you have brought real focus on those. Now I would like to quickly invite Mr. Pinakin Gurjar, who is working with UPL as a country manager for Kenya and Israel, and looking after crop protection business based in Nairobi since 2017. He has also been in Syngenta for 10 years in various roles in seeds and crop production business. Mr. Pinakin is there?
Yeah.
Yes, please. 5 to 7 minutes, please.
Yeah. Thank you, His Excellency Ambassador Anil Trigunath, His Excellency Dr. Virendra Paul, distinguished participants, and other hosts. So as mentioned, I'm from UPL, who is basically agro solution company. So I'm going to speak about mainly on a sector of agriculture, where the tremendous opportunities are lying in Kenya for further business development. So many of the participants have already talked about agriculture sector. I'm also focusing mainly on a couple of areas where there can be a bigger business opportunities. So one of them is definitely a flowers business, which is already a bigger business and export earning business area in Kenya. So basically flowers is already, Kenya is exporting more than 1 billion plus flowers export to European Union, Middle East, and some other countries in the world. So definitely this is something which can be explored further. This is not something which should be a limit. And to add on that, Kenya has already developed a modern infrastructure for best quality flowers in the world. So already the climate is congenial, local talent is available for production, reasonably cheap labor and other adjoining technologies are easily available. On top of it, country has already developed very good connectivity across the world through flight and seaport. So it should not also be a limitation for exports of flowers. Yeah. Another major export opportunity in Kenya is a mango. So mango, Kenya is uniquely positioned in terms of geography, that it stands on equator and its main mango season comes earlier than India and other countries. So India is one of the biggest consumer of mango, fresh mango. Kenyan mango comes to market in a month of December, January, and February. During this time, there are no mangoes as such in Indian market. And during this time, if Kenya is able to export mango, I think this can be one of the big opportunity for Kenya to export mango. So this is one of the good thing. And as I mentioned about flowers, there is good infrastructure also available for export of mango in a bulk. So there are like cold, air-conditioned cargo available by sea, by air also it is possible that it can be shipped. So it's just a matter of exploring different opportunities that how it can be exported to India and other parts of the world. And as such, mango during that time, there is not a proper processing facilities available. Value addition is very, very limited in Kenya. So farmers are also not getting benefit of the prices in a local market. So if it can be exported even through a value addition, which I'm going to share in my next slide, then also it can be one of the biggest, foreign exchange revenue for Kenya as a country. Not only India, but other Southeast Asian countries also it can export. Yeah. Another one of the important export crops is avocado. Many of the people know that avocado has got many health benefits, and there is a growing awareness across the world for avocados. Kenya already is exporting avocados in different parts of the world, but it's just 10% of Kenyan avocado is exported to the rest other parts of the world. Whereas other African countries like South Africa, they export more than 60% of their produce. So there is still a big opportunity for Kenya as long as avocado export is concerned. Yeah, Kenya already is exporting to Netherlands, Spain, UAE, Russia, France, Belgium, and even China. So this can be a big opportunity. Already India is also, importing avocados. This can be opportunity. Frozen avocado also can be exported. There is infrastructure available, and if Indian companies and Indian investors are, look at this opportunity, then this can be one of the biggest opportunity in front of business community. Yeah. Third area which I want to look at is food processing and cold storage for potatoes. So Kenya produces potatoes around the year, and whenever the produce is harvested, farmers are selling just in a panic, because of there is negligible infrastructure available for storage of fresh potatoes. So to help the farming community, if there are sufficient cold storages available, then there will be round the year smoother supply and good prices available to Kenyan farmers. And at the same time, it will also help corporates, local corporate chain industries to get the consistent supply of the raw material. That is very, very crucial. Yeah. On the top of it, there can be other value addition like frozen fries, which can be done for potatoes. And among the other food processing opportunities, there can be value addition for the mango, juice, pulp extraction, and exported to other countries. Yeah. And then at last, frozen avocados, which I have discussed, because many of the countries in the world, they don't allow fresh produce being exported. But if it is exported with this kind of value addition, then that can be one of the good area which can be considered. At last, vegetable. India is home to, I think, one of the world's biggest vegetarian population. And similarly, trend of being vegetarian is also increasing in other parts of the world. Kenya produces, because of its advantage of climate, as Ms. Sheila has told in her presentation, that Kenya is like very nice climate, cool, and like a hill station. So because of its unique advantage, Kenya produces one of the best vegetables and fruits in the world. And these best quality vegetables, and these are grown in state-of-art modern greenhouses and polyhouses. So these can be further, stored or frozen and then exported to other parts of the world. This can be one of the biggest opportunity, and this will also ensure, food processing will also ensure one of the big four agenda of His Excellency President of Kenya. Yeah. So these are a couple of areas in terms of agriculture where the business community can come, invest, and get the benefit with a unique position of Kenya. Thank you very much. This is from me. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gujjar. They're very, very useful. You very specifically pointed out the areas, and they really have tremendous potential. And I'm quite sure several Indian companies would like to take advantage of that and create mutually beneficial linkages. Now, last but not the least, we have one of the most respected businessmen, Mr. Tyagarajan Ramamurthy, who is generally known as TRM. I think everybody knows him as popularly. He has tremendous experience of as a group strategic consultant for IPS Kenya, Fed Group, and is involved in FMCG, power generation, printing and packaging, healthcare businesses. So something very interesting, which is written in his CV, is the TRM's DNA to develop people and communities, which eventually adds up to the development of countries at large. Mr. Ramamurthy.
Your Excellencies, distinguished speakers, and all the respected participants in this webinar. It's a great opportunity. I thank His Excellency, the High Commissioner of India to Kenya, Dr. Virendra Pal, and who has included me in the last minute yesterday. Very kind of you to accept and then allow me to come and share my thoughts with you. I want to take only a couple of minutes to avoid a repetition of what has been said so far. Very important thing is Kenya is the fifth largest economy in sub-Saharan Africa, contributing to 50% of the GDP growth in East Africa. The ambition to grow from 6% to double-digit GDP growth by 2030 is a vision. People talked about the big agenda, big four agenda, and the Build Kenya, Buy Kenya agenda and everything. But all these things warrants investment in infrastructure, capacity building, technology transfer, and end-to-end management of the value chain. But all of you should remember and recognize that this is private sector dominated economy so far. The government is still looking at about 25% of the GDP will be the private sector investment by 2030. let me share with you one perspective what I have. Be it manufacturing or service industry, what is critical for us is the consumers, the market. The market is the primary force which is going to help all the growth which is going to come in, because you should have the disposable income and buying capacity. Anything produced in Kenya can be exported to East Africa. Anything that is produced in Kenya can also be exported outside East Africa. What can be exported outside East Africa? Something is happening, something is still missing to happen. And what is supposed to be internally managed here in terms of expanding the market and providing all those things internally, that is also missing. These are all the two opportunities I would like to put it on the table. All of us know that Kenya has a population of 50 million, which is 10 million household. You take only 10% of the people, which is 5 million, which is about 1 million household, and which is consisting of bureaucrats, business people, higher middle class, and all the expatriates, all put together. The 10% of the population, only in the formal retail sector, spend about $2 billion a year. Kenya is the second largest formal retail sector developed in the last 2 decades after South Africa. And there is still a lot of products which are imported into the country and then are distributed here. A lot of food items are coming from India, but the major competitor to India is Egypt and Turkey, because Egypt is coming under the COMESA. All the non-food products and lifestyle products are coming from Far East. There is a lot of opportunity for India to look at this sector. I'm talking about $2 billion and only 10% of the population here. There is still 90% of the population in the informal sector who also consume everything here, despite the fact that the income is a little lower. This is the local market only in Kenya. And if you look at the entire East African market, taking Rwanda, Burundi, South Sudan, and Tanzania and Uganda put together, as you will see what is the total formal and informal market available for any credible manufacturer in Kenya who can access this entire segment. Let me go to the agri sector today. There is a lot of been spoken about agri sector. Let us not forget that Indian companies who are exporting are also importing raw materials into India. They can also look at Kenya as a hub to manufacture and directly export from here, and they can find a partner here, and we are all ready to partner with them. We are working in agri sector. We are exporting to Europe. We have involved about 35,000 farmers, and we are going to invest another about $100 million in agri sector and healthcare as a group, and involving another about 30 to 40,000 farmers for the local produce, for the value addition and export here. And we are also discussing with a couple of Indian manufacturer of sesame oil. We are discussing with somebody in India also. And to put up a healthcare facility here, and there is a turnkey project that the Indian company is coming and doing it here for us, which is another about $50 million business that India is going to get here. As everybody talked about, the opportunities which exist in agri sector, and we have a plant which can extract and supply all the APIs, what is required for the cosmetic industry, for the beverage industry, and various other industries that we can provide. And we have in the EPZ, we have got a company with which we are going to we are looking for Indian buyers, so that India is a big market for Kenya to send. On the pharmaceutical sector, majority of the APIs are coming from China and other places. And we have shifted more than 80% to India in the last 1 year after Prime Minister's call. And we are buying from India today. But Indian manufacturers have to be price competitive and make the products available and must develop the export culture. If that comes in here, there is a lot of opportunity for Indian raw material manufacturers, API manufacturers for the pharmaceutical sector. They'll be able to definitely take the market here. And these are all the 3 sectors that we are investing as a group here. And we are operating in about 18 different countries. We got various verticals here. But as industrial promotion services, and we are operating in almost about 18 countries. And Kenya is playing a major role and working in these three sectors. And there is a lot of opportunity for Indian companies to partner with us and do something here. And this is something very important for India to look at it here. And when the Indian delegation come here, we are ready to meet and sit and discuss the scope with those people and also open up the opportunities for them and in many areas here. Let them not forget about the retail sector. And there are 100,000 products which are being imported from various countries into this place. And India also keeps supplying. But very important thing is India has still a major role to play here. There is a statistics available and which indicates 157 investments from India worth about $320 million, which have come in and creating employment for 1.1 million people in this country so far. That is what the number that I have here. But I'm sure that going forward with this kind of an initiative, Your Excellency, you have taken, I'm sure that there is a lot more that can be done, and we can definitely count on the growth and sustainability of Indian business and Kenyan business in good partnership if they are able to come and access the right people and start doing things here. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I was on. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Ramamurthy. It was really an amazing insight, and you've given an excellent advice to the people in various sectors and the opportunities that are available. And we believe in Africa for Africans and the Kenya for Kenyans. And therefore, whatever business has been done or investment has been done, as you rightly mentioned, and the ambassador also mentioned, that so much of employment has been generated. Because that has been an extremely important thing. And that's where India differs from several other competitive countries in that regard. I see that there are several questions, but they were not really the questions. People have indicated what they are doing, and they have connected while we were discussing with the counterparts. Where they have not, we will be happy to share the relevant contact details of the people if you need. The chamber's email you already have. Please send us a detail, anything that you want. We'll put you in touch with our High Commission, and if necessary with the Kenyan High Commission here, or with the authorities who are present concerned, and we'll be happy to facilitate that. One thing I would like to mention, I want to thank each one of you for participating. But one thing unique I want to talk to you about. That is very rarely in our webinars, I see an ambassador sitting through and through for 2.5 hours. And I want to congratulate you and thank you, Ambassador Paul, for being there and listening to everything. And your presence is extremely important. Your support is very important for the Indo-Kenyan business. And we look forward to working closely with the High Commission and with the Kenyan authorities for promoting India and Kenya relations, especially in the trade and economic domain. Once again, wish you all the very best to each one of you. And I'm indeed grateful to each one of the speakers for sharing their thoughts. They were extremely important insights that one cannot know unless we know from the people who are there. So thank you very much to all our Kenyan friends, our Indian friends, persons of Indian origin also, some of them. So please keep in touch, stay happy, healthy. And I think the businessmen will only do business. We are merely facilitators. So I once again like to thank you each one. Thank you, Ambassador Paul. I see people are from Sweden, from Russia, from different places. They are there, all our friends. They're looking for opportunities. You have to unmute yourself, Ambassador Paul. Yeah.
Thank you, Ambassador Trigunath, for I would like to again say that I really enjoyed, and not just enjoyed, but I learned a lot from the various presentations. And early on during my stay here in Kenya, I think it was an excellent opportunity for me and also my colleagues here in the High Commission to know firsthand from the practitioners of trade and investments on what their aspirations are, what their expectations are on both sides, on the Kenyan side and the Indian side. And from this conversation, there's also a takeaway that on both sides, there are certain things to be done at the governmental level, even though, as you said, it is for the businessmen and they can spot profits and profitability in various ventures. But I think both the governments and being a representative of the government of India here in Kenya, I think there is something for me to also focus on. And when I interact with the business community here, both the Indian businessmen and the Kenyan business community, I think I would like to build upon the various points raised today. And in summary, what I would like to say is that it was a tremendous learning experience for me. And I would like to thank you, Ambassador Trigunath, and each and every participant for being so candid and so open and so forthcoming in sharing their impressions and their assessments. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And thank you to all the friends from across the world. There are many people are from different places. I can see some from Sweden, from Russia, from UAE. So thank you everyone for being there. It shows that India, Kenya can do together or trilaterally as well. Thank you once again for joining today.
Thank you so much.
Can I speak to Mr. Pinakin Gujjar?
Come again?
Can I speak to Mr. Pinakin?
Mr. Pinakin? Yeah. Just a minute. He's there only. Yeah, Mr. Pinakin.
Yeah,
some questions from our member.
Yeah, Mr. Pinakin, are you based in Kenya or are you based in India?
I'm based in Nairobi. Yeah, I'm in Kenya.
Okay. I want to connect with you because as you are telling that there's a lot of business opportunities for Kenyan agri-business, and a lot of flower export is being done from there, and a lot of other agri-products. I am a consultant to Punjab government for agri-products in India, and I am promoting agri-products from Punjab to different parts of the world. So I've been to Nairobi last year. So it's a very good country and it's a good market. So I want to connect with you to find out that which are the good companies which I can promote to the international markets for agri products, be it avocado, be it flowers or others. So we can have a discussion on that.
Yeah, I have shared my email in the chat box.
Okay.
You can reach out to me on email and we can have a further discussion on
yeah, that will be better. I'll share the detail. Don't worry.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
Any more questions?
Thank you.
Yeah. Hi. My name is Deepak. Just a moment.
Mr. Deepak.
Yeah. Hi. We run an IT company. Very quick question. I have in fact two questions. First is I'm just keen to understand as to how bureaucratic is Kenya. I have never been to Kenya. I have no exposure to Kenya. How bureaucratic is it? Is it really like India? I mean, how many licenses do you require to open up a shop or set up a IT company in Kenya? So that's my first question, and I'll very quickly put down the next question. There was very little talked about IT in Kenya. I'm keen to understand what kind of network do you have over there in Kenya, and how receptive is Kenya to information technology and solutions on it? Thanks.
Yeah, Mr. Pinakin,
if somebody could respond who's from Kenya.
Answer this question because you are still there, so you know the environment and everything of Kenya.
So actually, yes, doing business in Kenya is not very tough because we are also a multinational company. We are based in Kenya for long. Yes, everywhere, every government has its own requirements, which we have to fulfill. And the process is smooth. Most of the things are online. So not very much complicated process, but everywhere, wherever we deal with government, we have to follow their own things.
Yeah, sure. But my question is, how much of clearances, licenses, especially if somebody actually wants to come and invest, what
Mr.
kind
Deepak,
of
Mr. Deepak Lamba, if I can just intervene out here. Mr. Pius, who has just been talking to us, he is a part of the Kenya Investment Authority. That organization is one window system out here. At one window you go with all your permissions, everything, and they don't charge you a pie for that. There's this one window system out here. Mr. Pius is the right person for you to contact. In fact, that we can definitely pledge, as the system would be as smooth as that.
Cool. And some information about the networks in Kenya. I mean, are you on 4G, 3G, and how pervious is Kenya to IT? So there's very little talk of IT actually. It's been largely agriculture oriented conversation today.
Can I say something?
Please go ahead.
Yes.
Kenya is highly tech, and IT has taken a big toll on us. We do have quite a number of farms and individuals developing programs that are actually facilitating trade online. So IT is one thing, and I believe if you want to invest in that area, KenInvest will facilitate the process, because as an investor, you have a one-stop shop where you can actually visit and be facilitated. The Chamber of Commerce will also be able to facilitate, and that should be not a lengthy process. We call it one-stop shop, and the license is one trading license. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Any more questions from anybody?
Hello, I'm Dr. Kanwar from Delhi, India. I would like to, talk Mr. Rotich, Mr. Piyush Rotich.
Let me check. I think.
If he's left, I need the contact number, email ID, something, so I can keep in touch.
Definitely.
So I can keep in touch with him.
Yeah, definitely.
I would like to.
Let me share my.
Okay.
Let me share my email address. Yeah.
Mr. Piyush.
Yeah. I would like to talk about healthcare. I would like to talk about education and tourism.
Okay. So we will be able to respond to you since we have got we have done what we call sector assessment. Sector opportunities and how to go about in each and every sector and the opportunities to go. Yeah.
And Mr. Rotich, we have air ambulance services also. Recently, we airlift a patient from Nairobi to India. She's a 65 years old lady and she has a spine problem. She cannot move her body, and we airlift from Nairobi to India. And we saved her life.
Oh, thank you very much. On behalf of the government of the Republic of Kenya, we say thank you because you've saved the life of one of our own. So I'm going to send you. Where can I share the email address?
I just
share to the chat box.
Yeah, I just shared the details on my chat box. Kindly see, and we'll keep in touch, my friend.
Is that kanwardip.kalsa@gmail?
This is we have a connecting patient at gmail.com. The company name is a Connecting Patient LLP. It's a government registered firm. It's a limited liability partnership.
Is this sorry? Is your email address?
Yes, my kanwardeep.khalsa@gmail.com. It's my personal ID. And I shared on chat box also. Kindly see the chat box. You will get all my details, please.
Okay. I'll do. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend.
In fact, Mr. Rotich, it would be good if you could share your details in the chat box, which is running concurrent on the right-hand side, because there would be many who would desire to. Even I would want to connect with you maybe later on.
So my email address. This is the one I'm writing. Rotich. Just a minute, Rotich P. Rotich.
And here I would like to thank the team Mika to organize such a fruitful and beautiful, webinar. I hope, such meetings can help us to engage together and want to play a bridge in between Kenya and India. Thank you, Mika.
Hello, Mr. Rohit. Can you share your email ID? Some people are talking in between.
Yeah, you can see in the chat box.
.go.ke. Yeah, rotichp@invest.go.ke. Yeah, I've just shared. My name is Pius Rotich.
And Mr. Rotich, do you have any WhatsApp number, please?
Let me share WhatsApp number.
Thank you so much.
WhatsApp number. It is plus. Plus 254 726 863 Can you circulate to all the participants my WhatsApp number? That is my personal WhatsApp number, personal cell phone. Anyone can get in touch with me anytime of the day because we are here to serve investors. We are paid by the Republic of Kenya to serve investors.
Okay,
That
okay.
is it.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah.
I have Touchil. I am the publisher of the Friends in Africa. If you can post the email IDs and telephone numbers of all the we can send our magazine digital platforms to them free of cost. And I would say that our platform promoting Africa across the world, and it would be quite useful to all the people in Africa to avail of this facility. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Any more questions?
Yeah. I have one more question. It's a last question, my friend. Question to Mr. Rotich. Mr. Rotich, we have a robot surgery, the robot technology, which I would like to, transfer to Kenya because, we are doing in BLK hospital, the robotic surgery and all. How we can collaborate in robotic technology? Thank you.
Okay. So, can you give me the details of the inquiry, so that I be able to check with the Department of the Health, and then and also
I will, friend.
So that I can share.
I will, friend. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, shall I end the session, or if somebody is having questions?
Yes. Thank you so much, Team Mika. Thank you, brother.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Can I connect you over the phone to get all the addresses, all the coordinates of the participants?
Yeah, definitely. My number I'm just writing down.
Delhi. I'm based in Delhi.
Yeah, we are also from Delhi only.
Okay. Could you connect? Could you see my coordinates there in your system? Joseph Touchil at trendsinafrica.com.
I think your mobile
is 9810516770.
Just a minute, I'll take it down. I have shared mine.
Yeah, sure.
You got it?
Yeah. It's not there in the screen. You have sent it by the.
No, I have sent you over the chat box.
Okay.
But I have not received.
Okay, anyway, your number is there with me. I'll try to connect you. You are Mr. Goel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll connect with you. Yeah, I've been exchanging